Father's Day to all the wonderful fathers out there. Of course, this is a year later since I've launched my brand on Father's Day. I launched my brand, No Excuses, Only Solutions, a year ago. And I launched it on Father's Day for a reason. And I wanted to give myself something to look forward to, something to celebrate, something to be happy about on Father's Day. And of course, I absolutely hated Father's Day since I was pretty much a kid. It's a holiday I never cared to celebrate. So now I have something to celebrate. So happy 1 year anniversary to my brand, No Excuses, Only Solutions. I think that the brand has been doing phenomenal. I want to thank the people who have supported my brand, who have bought the brand, who have shared the post or did anything pertaining to my brand. The brand is very, very unique. It's a children brand. It's also an adult brand. So the brand is definitely felt and understood by the ones who understand No Excuses, Only Solutions. And I want to get down to Father's Day. Of course, I'm a mother. I'm not a father. And my best friend daughter kept asking me to make a vlog. And I'm like, Nyla, I don't have nothing to talk about. But I do have something to talk about. And I can spend today, Father's Day, talking about my children's fathers. And I want to talk about the precious memories that I remember, and I want to talk about them in general. And I want you guys to know what type of fathers they were, and I want you guys to know how much they love their sons. And so I decided to share some memories of both of them with you all. And I can start off with Jaren. Of course, Jaren and I, we were young when we gave birth to Jaden. And I remember the day that I found that I was pregnant with Jaden. I was living in Fort Worth and Jaren was living in Arlington, and I took my test and I came back and we talked about it, and I was the crybaby. I was the crybaby, y'all. I was crying and Jaren was excited. And as I described in my book, I called my mom, and my mom was like, well, what you crying for? And I remember Jay getting the phone and he was telling my mom, we gonna be all right. We gonna be all right. And him and my mom, they talked. And that night, Jaren agreed it's best for me to move back to Shreveport. Y'all, I cried the whole entire way from Arlington to Shreveport. I was on the passenger side of my Mustang and my relative was driving. But I just didn't want to leave Fort Worth. I wanted to stay up here because I'm like, I just moved. I found that I was pregnant. I went back to Shreveport to live with my mom, and I gave birth to Jaden. And then Jaren had all these plans. He had all these plans for him and his son. All he know, he wanted to do this, he wanted to do that. Boy, he didn't know if it was a girl or a boy. Jay was ready to find out what it was, baby. He had plans for him and his son. And when I gave birth to Jaden, I still can see Jay right now walking inside the hospital room. And y'all, Jaren was very adamant. He was like, I'm gonna cut the cord. I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that. He was adamant about cutting the umbilical cord. And of course he did cut it. And it's a picture of Jaren I'm going to share with you guys right after this video. And I want you guys to see how excited he was minutes before we gave birth to Jaden. I was laying in the hospital bed and I took this picture of Jay. Jay was like, take this picture of me so my son can know how player I am. Y'all, that's what I quoted in the book, because Jay felt like he was a player, boy. He was no player. But I took the picture of Jaren, and of course I'm stingy with a lot of pictures of Jay. I don't have many pictures of Jay. Any pictures that I have of Jay is what I have of Jay, and I try to save for Jaden. Jaden don't have many pictures when it comes to his dad, so anything I got, I'm stingy with it. And I don't like sharing them with anybody. But I'm going to share this picture with y'all because I want y'all to see how excited Jaren was minutes before he gave birth to his son. We gave birth to our son. During the time Jaren was alive, of course he informed me that he was going through a situation, and I remember telling Jay, well, Jay, I'm gonna take full responsibility of our son. I'm gonna take great care of him until you get better. And Jay was like, no, baby, no, no, this is my son. That's my son. It take my mama to laugh and make jokes about Jay, because Jay was adamant, this is my son. And Jay had a job actually in U-Haul, and he had saved up some money. I think it was his first check or his last check. I'm not too sure. But I was on the phone with him one day, and I was like, Jay, I need to go buy diapers. I need to go buy this. And I remember Jay saying, baby, come pick me up, and I'm going to go buy Jay the diapers. And I'm like, Jay, you want me to leave way from Shreveport, pick you way from Cornac, and take you way to Marshall to buy diapers? He was like, yeah. He was like, this is my son. And so, of course, I left Shreveport. Like I wrote in the book, I left Shreveport. This is facts now. I left Shreveport and went to Cornac, went to Marshall, and Jaren just wanted to be a father. He just wanted to feel like he had some authority of his son, and he definitely wanted to He wanted to give his input on his son, even if it meant financially. Days later, of course, I took Jaden to Karnak to spend time with Jay, and after he stayed up there for a whole entire week, all this information is in the book. Jay was allowed to babysit his son. Jay was allowed to keep his son. Jay was allowed to be with his son. Jay did not have to be with Patricia in order to be with his son. Jay was a great babysitter, and I can still remember those sweet forehead kisses he would always give Jaden. And of course, Jaden was 6 months old when his dad passed away, so he don't have any memory of his dad. So the very last moment that Jay had with Jaden and it was a week before he passed away. I had just got in from working. I was working 12 to 6, everything I described in the book, I was working, and I got off work, and I remember going inside my apartment, and I remember it was a loud bang at the door. It was a loud bang at the door, and I was scared. I thought it was somebody playing on my door because I stayed in the hood. I was kind of paranoid. And I heard somebody saying, "Girl, open this door with your scared ass." So I opened the door, and there stood Jaron, and Jay was in his basketball shorts and his white tee, just like I described him in the book. And he had on I can see his navy New Balances. I can see Jay right now in my vision, y'all, while I'm making this video. And Jay came on in the apartment, and he had a little cast on his arm from his accident. And I remember he came in. I was so excited to see him. And I was like, "Jay, what you doing down here? Did anybody know you down here?" Of course, he snuck to see me and Jaden. And he went straight to the back room, and he got Jaden off the bed, and he just was snuggling with his baby. He was snuggling with him. And I remember walking into the living room, and I was just looking at him and Jaden, and Jay was in heaven with his baby, y'all. Jay was in heaven. So I left the living room, and I remember leaving out the living room, and I went to the back room, and I gave him and Jaden some time to be, to have one-on-one time. And I wanted Jay to spend that time with Jaden. I didn't know how long he was going to stay because, like I say, he had just popped up on us. So I went in the back room, and Jay came to the back, and we were talking. And I remember the conversation we had. I remember like it was yesterday. I remember us talking about just us separated, us not being together, what went wrong, what's going wrong. But I always want to just focus on being a mother and a father, because me and Jay had been attached to each other since the 8th grade, 9th grade, 10th grade, 11th grade, 12th grade, out of school. Father's Day to Jaron again. I'm not going to spend too much time talking about Jaron because I can go on and on talking about me some Jay. Brandon was probably one of the most hard working individuals I knew. When I tell you the man worked hard, it was nothing that I didn't have when it came to my child. When I got pregnant with Branson, I remember calling Brandon, and we talked on the phone. Pretty much my first remarks to him was like, "Brandon, I'm already a single parent now with Jaden. I definitely don't want to raise a child alone or take care of a child alone." And of course, Brandon reassured me. He said, I'm gonna take care of it. And that man gave me his word, and that man gave me his bond. And the whole entire time I was pregnant with my son, I never bought anything. Brandon never questioned my child. He never had any doubts about my child. He never did none of that. And if he did, I didn't know anything about it. Like I said, I never bought nothing for my child, and it was strictly about my child. And I feel like I handled that situation the best way I could. And when Branson was born, Brandon was not present. His mom was present. And when he was born, I said, "Oh, I done had this man twin." My baby looked just like his dad, y'all. He looked like his dad. He act like his dad. He is his dad's twin, okay? He talk like his dad. The more he get older, I be like, "Boy, you just like your father." But Brandon came down like a day or two after, right after I got out the hospital. And I remember him walking into the room, and Branson was laying on the bed, of course. And he walked over to Branson, and he stood over Branson. And he was just looking. He was looking at his own reflection. That's what he was doing. But I remember him wiggling his feet just like I described into the book. And he started talking to Branson. And I exited the room. I exited because I wanted Brandon to have that one-on-one time with his son. And I want him to embrace fatherhood. I wanted him just to be alone with his child. And like I said, I left out the room, and Brandon spent a long time with me in Shreveport with his child. Well, not with me, with his son. He was spending time with his son. But, more days came, and Brandon was coming to Shreveport. He was bringing milk. Y'all, the man was bringing diapers when I ain't even need diapers. The man was buying milk when I ain't even need milk. So after 2 weeks into going on 3 weeks into Branson being born, that's when things got ugly. And of course, if you read the book, you know why it got ugly. Why to this day it got ugly, I don't even know. Because we was being co-parents and we was taking care of our child. And I think a lot of people didn't understand that Patricia had a child with Brandon. Brandon had a child with Patricia. He was a grown man, I was a grown woman, and we had a child. Where all the nonsense came in it, talking about, DNA. It just don't make sense. When I look back on it, it still don't make sense. I don't know how somebody who never met me or don't anything about me can make judgment about me or can say who was my child's father. Brandon know what type of woman I was. And if he thought otherwise, he wouldn't have stood up, immediately started taking care of my child. I was never worried about the other party. I was never concerned about the next individual. All I was worried about was Patricia and Branson. And Patricia and Branson was great. We was well taken care of. Like I say, Brandon, he took great care of his child. And looked, like I say, going into 3 weeks, that's when drama happened. That's when drama kicked in, and me and Brandon kind of butted heads. And I remember saying to myself, well, you know what? Brandon took care of my child all this time. I wrote this in my book now. I'm like, he done took great care of my child all this time. I'm going to take care of my own child. I ain't calling him because it's just too much drama every time I call his phone to speak to my child's father. It was just too much. So I stopped calling Brandon, and it just, after I went to jail, y'all, it was terrible. It was so terrible. And I look back on it, I don't understand how it got to be so bad, because Brandon and Patricia was just taking care of their child. They was minding their business. I don't know if nobody felt like I was a threat or what, but I never did. I never saw anybody. I never talked to anybody when I was pregnant. Not because I was scared or bothered. That's just not who I am. That's just not who I do, baby. I had class, and my business was Branson, and Brandon's business was Branson. So sending me to jail and all that crap, it just caused so much friction between me and Brandon. But we got through it. We got past it. And Branson's first birthday party, Brandon, of course, bought everything. The man wasn't going to let me buy nothing, y'all. That man, when I tell y'all, that man made sure he bought everything on down to the camera. Like I said, he bought everything for the party. And actually, at Branson's first birthday party, he took over the whole entire parties. I got so many pictures of Brandon when he playing the game, blowing out the candles, pushing Branson in the air, got Branson on his waistline. Y'all, the man was, Brandon was participating in them games. He was moving all slow because he moved like a snail, but Brandon was participating and he was excited. And I remember, those are my most precious memories of Brandon. Those are the things I want to remember. And of course, Brandon passed away when Branson was 5 years old. And during the time of Branson being 5 years old, I would never take credit from Brandon. I would never take or give too much credit, but Brandon definitely provided for my child. He took great care of my child. And I acknowledge this in the book. When I was going through that felony situation, I think Brandon felt bad. I think Brandon felt that, what can I do to help, man? I think he felt kind of helpless, I guess for me, but he would always make sure and give me extra. Because it was just so hard to move around that felony. It was so bad. It was nothing we could do about it. But the man made sure he was going to give extra, and he was going to try to help me out because I was the mother of his child. And I appreciate Brandon for that. I would never, ever, ever forget it. I never forsake it. I never take it for granted. I didn't take it for granted. Matter of fact, when he was alive, I would always tell Brandon, I appreciate you so much. Because a lot of kids' fathers don't even give their baby mama $1. Don't even get a woman $2, let alone pick up their child. So I knew what I had. So when people would make remarks about my child's father, or I would do this, no, you wouldn't. Because I know what I got. I know my son dad is taking great care of his child financially. And I know he's there financially. And it's like a lot of people was more worried about my child's father than I was. A lot of people didn't worry. And me and Brandon last conversation, I think it was on the Thursday, to be exact. So yeah, I'm gonna go see my dad today, and I'm gonna talk to him, and I'm gonna sit on the porch, and I'm gonna relax, and all I can do is do my part as a daughter. All I can do is do my part and be a daughter to my father. I ain't mad at nobody. I can't hold nobody accountable. I can't do nothing or say nothing more, nothing less to make anybody do this or feel like that. That's not my job to do that. All I can do is do my part. And my part is pretty much being a daughter. So my daddy called me. I'm gonna answer. I need to call him back, matter of fact. But if he call me, I'ma answer, and we gonna talk and we gonna chop it up. And me and my dad, we be gossiping, y'all. We be talking. When we talk. You know, he said, Teddy Bear, what you doing? My dad and my mom gave me that name, Teddy Bear. That name still stuck with me. My daddy called me Bear. He called me Teddy Bear. And that's what my mom called me. So anywho, I ain't gonna spend too much time, y'all. I'm finna go see the old man, but I definitely wanted to talk about my children's fathers. I want you guys to know what type of men they were. I have so many memories, like I say, I can go on and on talking about both of them, but I wanted to keep it brief because I'm getting cotton mouth, and I'm gonna go see my dad. So happy Father's Day to all the wonderful fathers out there.